dogs. They're just like kids, but the kids are like my kids here at the library. I really enjoy working with the kids, and it's really an exciting experience being with these children, and watching them read and have fun.
Children's librarian Heather Sells has been with the Granada Hills branch for 23 years. Now, not only can you learn magic at the library, but you can learn the magic of the library. Andrew Tarr is over at the Pico Union branch with more on the magic he's found with KidsPath.
That's right, Franklin. All you need is a little imagination and perhaps a magic word. Encyclopedia. Ta-da! Thank you. You know, Franklin, you can find magic at every branch. Maybe not the pull a rabbit out of a hat kind, but the ooh, ah kind. Let's say you have some homework to do, and you need a little help. What do? Go to Homework Help. Now, Homework Help has got to be about the coolest thing ever, Franklin. It's the best thing to come to homework since not doing it. Ta-da! Thank you. First, as long as you have your Los Angeles Public Library card, you have access to all of these databases, covering everything from the arts, business, biography. There are databases that are designed to match up with California's required curriculum. On the biography database, there's 275,000 entries. Culturegrams puts information on 175 countries at your fingertips. Homework Help also includes databases in Espanol. And as if that weren't enough, Homework Help will link you to in-depth sites on people and subjects kids need to know. It's like traveling the world without leaving your computer.
Wow, that's amazing, Andrew.
But that's not all.
There's more?
Yes, Franklin, there's more. The most exciting, cutting-edge feature of Homework Help. It's live! Homework Help hooks you up with a real human being who can help kids in the 4th grade and above with math, English, science, and social studies every afternoon from 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. Using chat and a whiteboard, students interact with certified teachers around the country to solve their homework problems. Check the website to find out system requirements or use the computers at your local branch. Homework has just gotten a whole lot easier.
Now, our correspondent Andrew Tarr is at the Mid-Valley Regional Branch Library to continue his report. Now, Andrew, you've only scratched the surface of KidsPath, haven't you?
No, KidsPath can't be scratched, Franklin. It's on the internet. It's in cyberspace. Very confusing. I'll explain it to you later. You see, KidsPath is much more than just a way to find your favorite books or get help with your homework. It's a whole new world of its own. KidsPath has a whole page that includes lists of great books to read. Books that have won awards worldwide or are especially great for reading aloud or organized by reading level. Cool Sites for Kids leads you to age-appropriate sites on the internet, some just for fun and some to help you do your homework. There are games that encourage reading and literacy, and yes, there's a special KidsPath section with Spanish resources too.
It's an incredible place, Franklin.
There's a section to help parents help their kids with reading skills, with developing good homework habits, and tips on how to teach kids to use the internet safely. Never before has there been a place like KidsPath! Franklin?
And there's more. See, KidsPath has an event section linking kids to events at their local branch and everywhere in the system. There's something for everyone. Now, finally, we have a very special story about the library's commitment to every child in Los Angeles. Through a program called Camp LAPL, children without homes have a chance to experience the wonder of both the Los Angeles Public Library and summer camp.
We started this program 6 years ago because Los Angeles Public Library is very attuned to the needs of the community, and we have this beautiful central library right here in downtown LA, and all around us are children who are living in shelters and in the Union Rescue Mission. So I wanted to have a program that would bring the children to their library and let them see that there's this free venue for them that they can go to for the rest of their life, and we wanted to introduce them into the books, into literature, into the to computers, into nonfiction and fiction, and all the performance arts. So it's been a wonderful success. We do it once a year, 1 week. We bring in about 20 children, and it's been great.
First class now, Dan. I'll be a sus. My whole book is going to be yellow.
The library gives these children a window on the world, and they come from lives that don't have many of these people don't have a book in their home, and they can come to the library, and for the rest of their lives they can take books home with them, and they can use the books here in the library.
Okay, here's the library card.
There you go.
And it will open up their vistas. And the camp gives them something different every day. We had radio theater yesterday, and we have the mime today, and we're going to have bilingual stories and songs tomorrow. And we're going to have magic and puppets.
This one's the House of Straw, okay? So hang out, relax. Whoa, that's almost falling down. It's the House of Straw. You get to pretend and be on stage and have other people, all of a sudden you're learning, oh, okay. Somebody, thinks this is funny. Somebody thinks this is that, so it opens up a lot of avenues for them, and that's the nice thing.
We see these children all year round. They come back and they come to the free programs. They realize it's a wonderful, fun place. It's an informative place, that the librarians are there to help them. And when the time comes that they need to use the library for their school activities, they don't feel threatened. They come into the library and they enjoy it.
It's nice, and you can learn things here, and it's fun.
Abraham Lincoln once said, "The things I want to know are in books. My best friend is the man who'll get me a book I haven't read." The Los Angeles Public Library hopes that throughout your life, we'll always be one of your best friends. I'm Franklin D. Neely at your library. Do you want to know more? Check it out online at www.lapl.org or drop in your local branch and ask your librarian.
Margos with a special LA City View report. It's kickoff time for LA's soccer-loving kids. The Kick It at the Park program is a partnership between the Chivas USA soccer team and the LA Department of Recreation and Parks. This first clinic and scrimmage got things rolling at Rio de Los Angeles State Park in Cypress Park.
This used to be an old rail yard where this is a neighborhood where kids have nowhere to play. Now we have 40 acres of park. We're absorbing all this energy with Chivas USA. We are conducting these clinics and defining a place in which the families can come together.
Online! Today's the kickoff. I think we've got like 850 kids, but their families are here and a lot of the neighborhoods has been invited. So it's a wonderful day.
This is a 40-week academy. Each week we will have an academy at a different park in the city. We're targeting 25,000 kids.
It's a whole a year program. It will last from January to December, and I think it's going to last for many years to come. Chivas, as you know, Chivas USA is a professional soccer team that plays in the MLS, plays in the city of in the city. It's an LA team, and this is a program for education.
So we'll have probably 10 to 15 of our coaches each week teaching skills. So they'll be doing drills, so they'll be doing some fitness training, and then they'll play little scrimmages at the end.
It's a game that thrills people in LA. We have a bigger soccer audience than anywhere else in this country. We are targeting youths between 5 and 15 years old. We know that age group is an age group at the greatest risk. So we bring them into the park, basically keeping them out of the gang element. We do that through these sports programs.
I like a lot of soccer because I like soccer. It's more active, it gives you a lot of energy, and it's good for you.
You look at this area, and it's a great area of working people, great families here, people who struggle every day. And to the extent that we're getting these beautiful young kids, look at them. Look at their eyes. Look at the talent in these kids. There's a lot of talent here. But kicking it at the park is one way to develop that talent.
I think we're going to inspire not only the game of soccer, but life skills in terms of fitness and teamwork and leadership.
The sport is a great sport, but you want to teach the kids to play together, to understand, to communicate together with other kids, to integrate to a community.
There is information on healthy eating and really physical fitness. There's also booths on interactive soccer so that you can actually go into the booth and kick your soccer ball against an inflatable, which is really fun. You can, test your strength, test your power.
Now we're going to do some passing drills, okay? I was discovered in one of these clinics. I was discovered here and they signed me up, and right now I'm playing pro. I just told the kids what I was telling is never give up. Follow your dreams and they always come true.
This is what it's all about. I say no more. Give it to the young people. Thank you.
For more information on soccer clinics coming up and locations, visit www.laparks.org and click on Chivas USA Youth Soccer Clinics. I'm Anna Marcos with a special report for LA City View.
City of Los Angeles. When duty calls, the LAPD responds.
911 emergency. How old is your daughter?
She's 4 years old. Her name's Janelle.
I lost my puppy. Can you help me?
We have a critical missing. There is an Amber Alert, so let's look for any information you get. Pass that into the watch commander. Let's be careful out there.
To fight crime and to keep our streets safe.
I'd be going nuts if this was my daughter.
Push your units at 7855, 7855, 2 11 security, Olympic and Ardmore, the child market. Suspect family, 958 West, 75 towards Olympic. Property taking use currency, code 3. 7855, roger. Call unit 7050, West, in quick pursuit of a 211 suspect southbound near the house is requesting backup. Any area that comes out of militia frequency.
Airplane roll, 7955, we're still
To protect and to serve.
All units, code 4, 11 to Catalina, suspect in custody.
Standing with our community.
Los Angeles Police Department this morning issued an Amber Alert. The suspect is driving a black Honda Civic.
Working as a team.
Hey, what's up?
I think I saw that car that you were looking for. Can you show us? Yeah, let's go.
They take pride in what they do.
K910, code 6 on the
And when duty calls, the LAPD responds.
Positive on the vehicle.
Roger. Last like 2, we have positive on the Amber Alert vehicle. It looks like they found the car.
The LAPD is hiring. Become a part of the team. Visit us at joinlapd.com.
Excellent. Cut, print, we're moving on. Hi, I'm Shane Woodson on the set of Cain and Abel here in Hollywood. You're watching LA City View, Channel 35. Our city, our channel. Okay, I need my actors back on set, back in position.
Good morning. Today is Friday, September 5th, 2008, and welcome to the Los Angeles City Council. This is our first meeting of the month here in wonderful Van Nuys City Hall. Thank you to council members Hahn, LaBonge, Rosendahl, Smith, Weiss, Wesson, and Garcetti. We are still waiting for a quorum. To ask that Mr. Alarcon, Mr. Parks, and Mr. Zine please make their way to the council chambers. For our first presentation, as our regular Fridays have special presentations, I'd like to acknowledge our president, council member and council president Eric Garcetti.
Thank you very much, Madam President, and Ohayo gozaimasu, and good morning. I'm very pleased to welcome a delegation, if you'd like to come over here, from Fukuoka, Japan. And we know that Los Angeles' history is very much tied with being part of the Pacific Rim. And this very illustrious and esteemed delegation from Japan represents 100 years of immigration from Japan to Los Angeles, to California, and to the United States of America. Let me introduce who is with us here first today, say a few words, and then we can hear from our esteemed guests. First, we have our Vice Governor, Takayuka Nakashima. He is the Vice Governor. We have the Chairman of the Prefectural Assembly, Toshimitsu Sadasue. We have Assembly Member Kunio Kaji, Assembly Member Masahiko Niimura. We have Assembly Member Hiroshi Morishita, Assembly Member Katsutoshi Yamada, Assembly Member Shioji Akita, and some other special guests. Let's give them all a round of applause and thank them so much for being here. The delegation arrived last night, so they must be a little bit tired, but they are going to be here until next Tuesday to celebrate the 100th anniversary of emigration from Fukuoka to the United States. They'll be visiting a number of places in Los Angeles, including in Ms. Hahn's district, Terminal Island, and seeing our great port, the Japanese-American National Museum in Little Tokyo and Ms. Perry's district, and I've ensured that they will get at least to Hollywood to see that little famous neighborhood that I know that they will enjoy as well in my own district. And I think that they will find that the Japanese-American culture in Los Angeles is rich and vibrant across our city, and that the success of Los Angeles has very much been built by Japanese-American population and a Japanese-American friendship that is extended for now over 100 years. So please join me in welcoming them and wishing them an enjoyable visit. And I would like to present on behalf of Los Angeles, only in Los Angeles could we give a certificate partially written in English and Spanish to a group of Japanese visitors. But it is on the occasion of your visit to our city. Our city's full name in Spanish is El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora, la Reina de Los Ángeles, Los Angeles. That means the town of Our Lady, the Queen of the Angels. And indeed, you are all angels to be here in our city, and we want to welcome you, and I'd like to present this to you on behalf of the City Council.
Thank you. Mr. Garcetti, we do have Mr. Smith, I know, so when you're
Sure.
ready, please give me.
Before we hear from them, there's some other council members that would like to give their remarks to you as well, so please.
Thank you. Mr. Smith, followed by Mr. LaBonge and Mr. Rosendahl.
Well, thank you very much. And I know Mr. LaBonge is going to say this, but I was going to say that we a strong relationship between America and Los Angeles, particularly in Japan, go back for a long time. Our very first sister city is Nagoya, Japan. And it was our very first sister city that we have in Los Angeles. And so our ties are long and strong, and we've enjoyed. I know Mr. LaBonge has been there, Mr. Weezer, Mr. Rosendahl, and I have been to Japan, and very much appreciate the working relationship between America and Japan. And it's interesting that you're here today, because today we are celebrating emergency preparedness in the United States and in Los Angeles. And we have a hat here from our civilian emergency response teams, which was an idea that Mr. Bernsen and I came back from Japan with some 25 years ago and brought to America the idea of training our citizens to be prepared for disasters such as earthquakes. And nobody's done it better than Japan, and I've been there to see your preparedness. You lead the world in earthquake preparedness, and we're here today to celebrate that, so it's very appropriate that you're here today for that day. And I want to invite you to come back to Los Angeles November 12th through 14th to participate in our International Earthquake Preparedness event that we're going to have here in Los Angeles for the first time since 1988. In 1988, the Japanese sent over about a dozen people to participate in this earthquake conference, and I invite you to come back in November with your earthquake specialist because we can learn so much from Japan. You're so far ahead of the world in being prepared for earthquakes, and we could learn so much from you. And so I invite you to come back in November and join us. I thank you for giving us this idea. We now have over 50,000 citizens trained to be prepared for emergency earthquake preparedness, and our relationships are very strong and very private. And thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Labange.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Mr. President, our very distinguished guest, it's so great to see you. I just want to thank you for not just today, but yesterday, and also for tomorrow, for the friendship that we have between Japan and the United States, between California and Japan, and between Los Angeles and many, many cities in Japan. I think what's most interesting, I hope this is not a political statement, Mr. City Attorney, but he's not there, but I love the town of Obama, which has got so excited in Japan as you look to what is current affairs going on in the United States. But the exchange of our people, and I think what Mr. Smith said earlier about former Councilman Bernsen and his then young Deputy Smith, learning about preparedness and other things. Our transit system, we could learn so much. Some of your business practices, we could learn so much. So I just personally want to welcome you. You're here for a week. You'll have a great experience in Los Angeles. And so I just say welcome. Arigato.
Thank you. Mr. Rosendahl.
Thank you, Madam President. I, too, want to acknowledge your visit here. I was in Nagoya, Japan, very, very impressed with what you've done with your garbage to energy and how incredibly forward-looking you have been on environmental issues. You have really given us some things that we didn't do before. Very, very impressed. And I also got on the bullet train and went to Tokyo, back and forth, got in the front of it, and saw how far you're ahead on mass transit and making it work, which we want to adopt some of those ideas to Los Angeles. And third, I live on the coastal district. We want you to come to Venice. There's a large Japanese-American community in the Venice area there, in the Sortel area there, with great roots and great relationships back home. So welcome to the United States of America, and thank you for the little rat, for the Year of the Rat. Appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hahn.
Thank you, and welcome to Los Angeles, and we're very proud to host you here. And as was said, we have such a great relationship with our Japanese American friends, and we have a great relationship with Japan. My own mother was born in Tokyo and lived in Tokyo until she was 11 years old. So we have a great relationship with the people of Japan. I represent the Port of Los Angeles, one of the most environmentally forward-thinking companies. NYK from Japan was one of the first shipping companies to build a ship from the keel up that was able to plug in to the electricity at the Port of Los Angeles instead of burning the very dirty bunker fuel while they were in port. So we're very happy with our relationship, and we look forward to learning more about our common interests from both of our countries. Welcome, have a great trip, and enjoy your time here in Los Angeles.
It now gives me great pleasure to introduce my counterpart, the Assembly Chair, Toshimitsu Sadasue. Please welcome him for a few words.
私は福岡県議会議長の貞末俊光でございます。本日は、ロサンゼルス市議会開催中、また大変ご多忙の中を我々訪問団にこのように時間を割いていただきましてありがとうございます。
My name is Toshimitsu
Sadasue. I'm a chairman, president of the Fukuoka City Assembly. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to see you all here while you are in a busy session.
またエリック・ガルセティ議長をはじめ、市議会の皆様方にお会いできましたのを大変に、光栄に存じ上げますとともに、歓迎のスピーチまでいただきましてありがとうございました。
Thank you very much for the welcoming speech from Mr. Garcetti and all the councilmen. We appreciate it very much.
我々今回の福岡からの訪問団は我々の先輩であります福岡県人の皆様が100年ほど前にこのロサンゼルス市の方にお見えになって、ちょうど100周年にあたるわけでございました。その南下福岡県人会100周年記念事業に参加するために福岡からやってまいりました。
The purpose of our visit is to celebrate the 100th year anniversary of Fukuoka Kenjinkai, which means the same prefectural association.
福岡県人会の皆様はふるさとである福岡県のことを愛しておられます。と同時に今このロサンゼルス市も愛しておられます。どうか今後福岡県とロサンゼルス市、そして日本国とアメリカ米国とのさらなる友好が深まりますように、記念申し上げましてご挨拶とさせていただきます。
Our ancestors came here 100 years ago, and the immigrants then and now loved Los Angeles very much, and as well as we love the native town Fukuoka. I think taking the opportunity, the two cities' friendship will promote and develop further. Thank you very much for this occasion.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And just as one example of those immigrants, I had mentioned before, and many of you know my communications director, Julie Wong, whose grandfather came from Fukuoka. And so it's a great example of the friendship and the continuing strength of the relationships between here and Fukuoka as well. I'd like to invite the Vice Governor Nakashima to come forward and to give him a gift on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, as well as our Assembly Chair, Sadasue. This is the symbol of the City of Los Angeles and a little gift from all of us here in the City Council as well.
sadasueさん、どうぞ。ありがとうございます。そうですね。はい。じゃあ、うちの方から差し上げますね。これ。In return, Mr. Nakashima would like to present a token of appreciation. Oh, this is a traditional art craft.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much, and on behalf of the city, we thank you for the friendship, we thank you for the visit, we hope you have a wonderful visit, and I hope you'll join me in a final round of applause for our visitors. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Garcetti. I'd like to acknowledge Councilmember Greg Smith for our next presentation.
Thank you.
If I could have the emergency preparedness people and our neighborhood councils that are with us today, and any of our corporate sponsors that are come forward, please. Ladies and gentlemen of the council, today is a very special day. We are, as the United States of America is remembering that it was 7 years ago, next week that 9/11 happened, that we were attacked in New York City, that terrorism is really an emergency that we must be prepared for. But in LA we have a lot of emergencies, and in the past 14 years we've had 12 presidentially declared emergencies take place in Los Angeles, from floods to fires, and of course earthquakes, and terrorism is always on our mind. And so this week and this month, September, is in the United States of America Earthquake and Emergency Preparedness Month, where we commemorate the fact that we need to be prepared in our cities and in our homes as citizens across this land for anything that may come upon us. And as we saw last week, the extraordinary activity that took place in New Orleans once again with Hurricane Gustav, which thank God did not do any kind of damage like it did in Katrina many years ago. But this time New Orleans was ready because they prepared. And I think it's a great lesson for all of us that we must be prepared for all those eventualities of all those emergencies that may befall us. Again, whether it's flood, fire, earthquake, or terrorism. And so this month is to remember that, but in particular give focus in Los Angeles to earthquakes, and it's something that I have been known to be very involved in over the years. Earthquake preparedness must be always on our minds because we are going to suffer, as we know very well, a next big, great earthquake here in the Los Angeles, Southern California region. We don't know when, but we know this, that an earthquake of the magnitude of Northridge or less will take place in the next decade, and an earthquake greater than Northridge will take place in the next 30 years with a 99% probability. And so we must do everything we can. The city of LA, contrary to what some people have said around this city, is the best prepared city in the United States of America. And I want to reinforce that. About 6 months ago, some of our police and fire and emergency preparedness staff were at a meeting with Secretary Chertoff where he said Region 5, I think it's Region 5 we're in, 9, Region 9, the region that Southern California is in, is the best prepared in the United States of America, and we need to be teaching all the others how to do it right. And so I'm very proud of what we've accomplished here in Los Angeles, but there is always a need to remind people that the emergencies take place and you need to be prepared. Emergencies go out of people's minds very quickly. The earthquake happens and 6 months later you've forgotten what you need to do. You may have gone after Northridge and put supplies in your home for the next earthquake. That water's no good anymore. That food is no good anymore. And we must remind people to restock, to be prepared, and always be thoughtful in their homes, in their businesses, in their neighborhoods, how to be ready for the next disaster. So we are here today to declare earthquake, to declare Emergency Preparedness Month in the United States of America and here in the city of Los Angeles. And I want to give the microphone over to Jim Featherstone and present him with this declaration that this is Emergency Preparedness Month in Los Angeles. And Jim, if you could say a few words about our preparedness, all the activities that are going to take place. I would like, Ms. Hahn, would you come forward, and Mr. LaBonge? And Mr. Alcorn is not here, but you're hosting some of the events in your district. I want you to come forward also, if you would, please. Jim?
Mr. Smith, we do have Mr. Rosendahl, Mr. LaBonge. I wanted to say a few words.
I'm going to put the hat on just for the symbolism of it, but also the seriousness of it at the same time. You know, we have a great constituent, Cindy Hench, who has been pushing the CERT program and earthquake preparedness throughout the 11th District. We're very concerned about tsunamis as well that might happen at Venice Beach. But Hal Bernson's shoes have been filled with Greg Smith's feet, and he's done an incredible job to continue that energy here in the city going forward on preparedness. And I must tell you, with Hannah right now and Ike on the East Coast, and they're beginning to look at it from that end, we are all in a preparedness mode throughout this great country. And it's true what Mr. Smith said about Secretary Chertoff. I was with him as well. And over, as Jane Harmon and I and Mayor Vito Ragosa were talking about security aspects at LAX, we brought up all of the emergency preparedness. And he kept saying anecdotally over and over that we as a county because it is a county issue, not just our city. Everybody's got to be on the same wavelength that we have made progress, but I dare say we're never prepared enough. Every citizen must have their own kit at home. I appreciate us getting these bags right now that have stuff in it, and that's very good. But all of us, I do in my car, have some stuff. I have stuff at home, and we need to be prepared. And I want to thank you all for your leadership and what you're doing for all of us. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you, and I certainly want to thank Councilmember Greg Smith for doing this today and bringing the attention to National Preparedness Month. And it is all about being prepared. I know that I represent the harbor area, the Port of Los Angeles. I have been very, very concerned for a long time and have called for an emergency preparedness plan. And I think, Rich, your brother, Chief Lou Rapoli, is right now helping to work with the Port of Los Angeles to create a plan. And I always worry about several kinds of disasters down at the Port of Los Angeles. Certainly there could be a natural disaster. We know that there is a great possibility of an earthquake happening somewhere out in the ocean between Catalina and San Pedro, and we know that could create a tsunami in a matter of minutes. And I also know that we're always concerned in the harbor area that the Port of Los Angeles continues to be, I know, a huge target for a potential terrorist attack. We want to make sure that the residents of the harbor area, as well as the men and women who work on the docks, are prepared in the event of an emergency, and that the port is able to get back up and running after an emergency. So thank you for doing this. Thanks to the neighborhood councils who have participated in this. I've always believed that our neighborhood council network out there is the perfect first responders in every single neighborhood to be prepared, to be ready, and to be able to pass on communication during a disaster in Los Angeles. So neighborhood councils, stay with us, be prepared, and thanks to all of you for making this happen.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hahn. I appreciate that, Ms. Hahn. Your remarks there, which is so nice, Mr. Smith, your leadership, and all this great group of people around us, those with our departments and the community, including our street services, which is so important to keep the roads open, which happens in a disaster, because I know in the 1994 earthquake there was tremendous impact on mobility, which starts it all. But as you know, this is the start of football season. And the teams that are going to win are the teams with the greatest defense. Did you know that, Ms. Hahn?
I did know
the defense that UCLA had the other day against Tennessee, effectively. But you got to have great defense. And to be defensive in the event of a disaster is preparation. And preparation of any team. And Mr. Smith, you're right, and we should be very proud about many things about Los Angeles, that we are prepared for an event. And it's not going to be easy. I think the most unbelievable thing about the 1994 earthquake is the impact it had outside the San Fernando Valley. All the focus was on the valley, but all the way down through Jefferson Park, there was tremendous damage because we didn't know the quake and the faults where it ended. The impact to the Interstate of 10 right there at La Cienega, La Brea area, and even Santa Monica and as far out as Santa Paula, all over in the area, it happens. But those, and especially the CERT teams, which I know Jim Featherstone is going to speak to, are so important to be the added component of our reach as a community. It is about a family. We're a family of people. Just yesterday, you know what yesterday was, Ms. Hahn? I'm really putting you on the spot. I know, I didn't know. Okay, it was City's birthday. You're right. Yeah, you said that very good there. 227 years ago, 44 people walked 9 miles from the Mission San Gabriel to the banks of Los Angeles River. Now, you know why they stopped at the river? Why? The water. Come on, Billy boy. Let's go now. The water. So, but the key is, it started the growth of our city. It started the growth, and we truly are a family from where we come from. And preparedness is so important, and even our own emergency plans for our families, for our children who have not experienced an earthquake, because it is a different experience as such, and also for our pets, which are so important to have that. And not just whether it's an earthquake, whether it's a fire tomorrow in Battalion 5 or in Hollywood, we're going to have a major evacuation with some of you who may be involved with, of a hillside in the event. of the challenge of a fire. All that adds to preparedness, which is so important. So, Mr. Smith, on behalf of your colleagues in the City Council here, we want to salute you for representing us so well in this. And I think you said it right. Okay, thank you. And now,
thank you. And
introduce Jim again.
Before Mr. LaBonge, I'd just like to comment as well. Jim and your team and the entire City of Los Angeles responded well in this last earthquake that occurred, and want to compliment all of you as well. As I know, yesterday I was visiting in Fire Station 88 that we have several of our own firefighters prepared out there to respond initially to Gustav and to Hannah, and Ike, I think, is the other. And that kind of shared responsibility, but the City of Los Angeles has particularly been at the forefront and been available to help people and share our wisdom and knowledge and unfortunately experience with the many disasters that have happened here in the City of Los Angeles. So I want to thank you, Greg Smith. You've been a leader prior to even being a council member here in the San Fernando Valley, which has been kind of ground zero of all of the challenges that we had between fires and earthquakes and many others. But I just want to thank you for this and for the leadership, and Jim, in your first year of being head of our wonderful emergency preparedness. And with that, it is your turn, Jim.
Featherstone. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak this morning. But as the distinguished council members have already said, that what the folks standing up here with me actually represent the collective effort of the governmental, non-governmental, and the civic team that we put together to stand up when the city is in time of need, or in time of crisis and disaster. So the applause is actually for the collective effort we had, whether it's sworn, non-sworn, civic, or our business industry partners. That's what you see standing up here with me today, and of course our governmental support. As I teach and speak around the country, Los Angeles is the benchmark for collective or unified effort in terms of emergency response and emergency preparedness. This is the home of CERT. Every other city in the country is playing catch-up to what we have done with our CERT program here in Los Angeles. The CERT teams, our neighbors, those are the first responders. Because not the disaster, but when we get to crisis, we're talking about disaster plus novelty hits, then we are each other's first responders. So that personal preparedness, that neighborhood preparedness, that's what's key. The CERT is a formalization of that, but each of us need to be prepared in our own neighborhoods. In terms of preparedness outreach, we have a team of 4 people right now from the Emergency Management Department that's on the ground in Texas. They left Saturday morning. They visited Houston, Beaumont, Galveston, and San Antonio. Their job was to look at and report back on evacuation and reception efforts by one of the best processes in the nation, the Harris County operation there that takes place in Texas. On your respective desk, you have a helmet and a backpack, the courtesy of the Los Angeles Fire Department CERT coordinator, Captain Stacy Gurley. They've done a tremendous job with CERT. Like I said, we are the benchmark in the nation relative to community emergency response teams. You also have preparedness materials distributed by our department. We are ready. We are prepared. We don't look at it as an end state. It's a dynamic effort that we continue to do. Thank you for your support here in Council. Thank you, Los Angeles. If I may close with one thought, I said this outside, and one of my staff came and said, "You said you got to repeat that again later on." The neighborhood councils have been great partners in this throughout the city and are utilizing CERT. Many of the neighborhood councils have had special CERT programs just for their neighborhood council and also in the community as well. And so I want to recognize all the neighborhood council people that came. I know a number came from San Pedro. They're here, and Women, North Coast, Valley, all of you. Coastal San Pedro. Central. One thing I want to relay to them is they need to be the Paul Revere of emergency preparedness. They need to go out into the street level where we can't even go, even with our emergency teams and our police and fire, because they have other responsibilities all day. It is our neighborhood councils that will be the Paul Revere that will go out in the neighborhood and say, it's here, it's time, it's be prepared, and to know who to work with in the community, who the block captain is, who the person is that's been trained in that neighborhood to help that neighborhood. After the 1994 earthquake, 4 of the 12 homes in my block were either red or yellow tagged. I lived on my lawn for weeks because my home was not habitable. We were able to take food from our motorhome and feed many people, but I also had a barbecue because it was in my motorhome, and all the neighbors' electricity was off, so they brought the food over from their refrigerators, and were able to feed out of our lawn the whole neighborhood, and with a swimming pool we had water because we had no water for 3 weeks in my neighborhood. We were able to use water from my pool to help people flush their toilets. And so it's those kind of thought processes that neighborhood councils can take to the streets that we can't as a city. And they are going to be critical to the survival. We know from Caltech that the next earthquake is going to be greater than Northridge. The damage will be not just confined to the city of L.A., but to the region. And when the region goes down, there is no mutual aid. In Northridge, we had assistance from the county, from every city in Southern California. That assistance will not be there in the next great quake event, which we expect to happen in 30 years. And so it is going to be reliant upon the people of L.A. and the people of the region to be self-sufficient for not just a day or two, but maybe as much as a week. And neighborhood councils will be the key to that. And so thank you for those neighborhood councils who have stepped forward. Thank you to the corporations who have stepped forward and helped fund this. Is anyone here from Kaiser Permanente? Did they come yet? No? Kaiser Permanente gave us 50. They're here? Great. Well, please stand. Come on over here. I want to give special recognition to Kaiser Permanente because not only did they give a $10,000 gift to the City Emergency Preparedness Program for the events that are going to take place in our community, but they just gave us $50,000 for the International Earthquake Conference to help sponsor it here in Los Angeles. So this is a company that has stepped up big time, and we want to say thank you, Kaiser Permanente. Thank you. I think Mr. Rosendahl
has 1 second. Yes.
I want to make one more comment about neighborhood watch groups and homeowners associations. I can tell you that I experienced in the northern part of my district in Brentwood a block community there that holds a block party every year that have identified 3 doctors in their neighborhoods, and they have put in 3 different garages all kinds of medical supplies as well. They've given themselves each other's phone numbers, as neighborhood watches always do, and as homeowner groups tend to do. But the model that I saw there was awesome. We don't know what's going to happen, but they have places where they can get immediate support from doctors there. They have supplies in garages, but we must make sure our homeowner groups, which are very vital and engaged in the community, and those neighborhood watch groups are obviously working with the neighborhood councils. Just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Those are great ideas, and we see this all over the place. The Reseda Neighborhood Council just bought a container, came through the harbor probably, surplus container, and have filled it with earthquake supplies and put it in a local park. So the community knows to go to the park in the emergency. These are the kind of things that neighborhood council can use their money for. They're great ideas, and we're going to need that. We're all going to need it. So thank you for all the people here, and then always personally, a very personal thank you to our emergency responders, our police and fire, who are going to be overwhelmed in the next event. They know it, and they're calling out to you to be their assistance and be their backup. So thank you for your work, and thank you, EMD, for all the great organization. Thank you so much.
Thank you to all of you being here. Thank you very much, Mr. Smith. Before we go to the next presentation, we're going to run through the council agenda. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alarcon, Cardenas, Gruel, Hahn, Weezer, Labange, Parks, Perry, Reyes, Rosendahl, Smith, Weiss, Wesson, Zine, Garcetti. 10 members present and a quorum, Madam President.
Yes, first item of business, please.
Approval of the minutes.
Mr. Rosendahl moves. Mr. Parks seconds.
Next is commendatory resolutions for approval.
Those will be approved.
Madam President, would you like to go through public comments?
We'll to go through the agenda first and come back to public comment after our presentations.
Items 1 through 3 are items for which public hearings have been held.
Okay. Anyone wish to call those special? If not, Madam Clerk, please open the roll on items 1 through 3, close the roll, and tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
Thank you. Next items?
Items 4 through 10 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration. And, Madam President, there are cards on 9 and 10.
Thank you. Those will be called special.
And that brings council to items called special.
Thank you. We need to vote on those remaining items, correct?
Yes, sorry.
Okay. So on the remaining items, Madam Clerk, please open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
Thank you. That takes us back to public comment and special items. Mr. Weiss can take the chair while I do my presentations.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Gruel.
Good morning, everybody. Come on up. You all look Olympian-like to me.
Yeah, they are.
Well, you do too. Thank you. Come on up around here.
Hi, Wendy. Good.
Thank you, Mr. Weiss. Today we have a very special presentation, and also let people know that we have the Los Angeles Triathlon this weekend. The Kaiser Permanente Los Angeles Triathlon, presented by Herbalife, will take place on Sunday, September 7th, 2008. We expect over 2,500 participants representing 10 different countries, 40 states, and to come to Los Angeles for this 9th annual event. The triathlon takes 3 of Southern California's most popular sports, swimming, cycling, running, and combines them into one exciting event. And our triathlon is a great tour of Los Angeles. It traverses some of Los Angeles's civic and cultural landmarks with the swim at Venice Beach in Mr. Rosendal's district, the cycling program through the West Side and Larchmont, and then the run portion through downtown with the finish line at Nokia Place at LA Live. While many cities have triathlons, the Los Angeles Triathlon is different because ours is one of the most popular destination triathlons in the world. The triathlon in Los Angeles attracts athletes and their families and friends to come from faraway destinations like Singapore, Guatemala, Mexico, New Zealand, Australia, Germany, and Brazil. And Los Angeles Triathlon is special because over 60% of our participants are new triathletes. And the Los Angeles Triathlon is one where they find that athletic challenge. This year, our youngest participant will be a 10-year-old from Manhattan Beach, and the oldest participant, 87 years old, from Indian Wells. So many more people, particularly people here on the West Coast, are looking at new ways and fun to be fit and healthy. Participating in the LA Triathlon is a great way to tackle those issues head on. More Angelinos can participate just because you may not be able to do all 3. I fit in that category. In the events does not mean you have to sit on the sidelines. If you divided the course by the council districts we see that it goes through, I see a relay opportunity. Bill Rosendahl can do the swim, Tom LaBonge can do the cycling, and Jan Perry can do the run. The official charity of the LA Triathlon is Ready, Set, Gold. Ready, Set, Gold is a nonprofit program that promotes students' fitness and nutrition, thereby helping to fight obesity and diabetes. Ready, Set, Gold does this by pairing current and former U.S. Olympians from the Los Angeles area with local public schools. Olympians frequently visit their designated schools while encouraging goal setting and overall physical fitness, while aiming to approve each student's state-mandated fitness programs that they test at the schools. This program operates in 50 LA Unified School District schools with plans to expand during the coming year. I'm proud to say that Ready, Set, Gold is programs at Verdugo Hills High School in my district and schools in many of your districts as well. Joining me today at the podium is Jack Caress, President of Pacific Sports and Race Director for the LA Triathlon, Dr. Richard Kurtzner, and Dr. Thad Woodward, who are representing the title sponsor. And I'm sure if we could get the council chambers to... Thank you. The title sponsor of the triathlon, Kaiser Permanente, which is popular today in contributing to our civic areas. And from Ready, Set, Gold, we have David Simon, President of Los Angeles Sports Council, and Bernadine Bednarz, Director of Ready, Set, Gold. We also are happy to have here some U.S. Olympians with us today. And as we all sat there glued to the TV watching the wonderful Olympics in China, it was really quite exciting in what U.S. was able to do. These Olympians participate here in Ready, Set, Gold. And so I want to acknowledge those that are here. Ray Brown, track and field in 1968. Ray? Steve Hugg from gymnastics, 1968 and 72. David Kimes, shooting in 1980. David. Craig Lincoln from springboard diving in 1972. R.T. Price, track and field in 1968. Ron Scarron, cycling in 1972 and 1976. Henry Tillman, boxing in 1984. I have to tell you, I knew you were the boxing one, just so you know. Jeff Williams from track and field in 1996. So we invite people to join us at the beaches of Venice and the streets of Los Angeles as we celebrate the 9th annual Kaiser Permanente Los Angeles Triathlon. And welcome. Oops, I got all of them. Okay. I want to make sure that are here. I did get all of them? Okay, thank you. Now, Bernadine, are you going to speak here today? Okay. I'm going to acknowledge Bernadine from Ready, Set, Goal to say a few words.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for a share of your valuable time today. You know, it doesn't seem coincidental that we started out this meeting with talking about preparedness, and that's what the Olympians and Paralympians do when they go into the Los Angeles Unified School District schools. They go in to prepare the students for a lifetime of fitness. You know, our students are getting fatter and diabetic, and that's sad, and that's why we have Olympians like these, plus 40 others who go into the schools and to prepare students for a lifetime of fitness. I run the program. It's called Ready, Set, Gold. We're beginning our third year here in the Los Angeles schools, and believe it or not, next year, 2009, is the 25th anniversary of the 1984 Olympics. Remember that excitement. So let me tell you, we will continue into the schools with corporate backup and go USA.
Mr. Labange.
Ms. Gruhl, I just wanted to thank you for bringing everybody in. Who's participating on Sunday right there? One man right there. Okay, I just want to cheer you going down Sunset Boulevard there through Silver Lake. That's a long way. But I know it's a tremendous experience. I know next year the triathlon is realigned a little to go through another route, which is exciting for the city. But also to the athletes, congratulations on your dedication. And to your coaches, wherever they are, at some playground somewhere in the city or the state, I'll never forget them, as I never forget them as well. Thank you, Ms. Gruhl. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Mr. Labange. And before we finish our presentation, I want to acknowledge and ask to speak the president of Pacific Sports, Jack Caress.
Thank you, Wendy, and thank you, council members, for having us here today. One of the things that you're aware of, I've been making a few visits to our city council meetings over the past several months, and we're excited again to have the 9th annual Kaiser Permanente Los Angeles Triathlon this year. And Councilman Labange, we actually changed the course this year. We don't know about next year's course yet, but it actually changed quite a bit to get off the Hollywood and Highland area that we had addressed for a couple of years. But we're still in Venice Beach and expecting Councilman Rosendahl to be down there on Sunday morning. And we finish at Nokia Plaza at LA Live. One of the things that's happened over the years in terms of the increased national and international exposure that Councilman Gruhl, Councilperson Gruhl addressed was the participation from both national and international participants. But one of the things that we also have going on is a number of challenged athletes that will be participating this weekend, including a blind athlete who is attempting to go for the world record. Yes, you can have a blind athlete do a triathlon. We do a tandem bike, but a man named Aaron Cheaties, who you will see a story in the Los Angeles Times about. On Sunday, we're honored to be involved with a lot of different sponsors and local companies like Kaiser Permanente and Herbalife. But one of the great things that happened this year that came about because of the legacy of the Olympic biz that we do here in Los Angeles was our relationship with Ready, Set, Gold. And as part of that, they're our official charity. We're raising money. We are giving money as proceeds from the event. We have a bike auction that we're doing. The athletes that are participating in the event have embraced the event and have the ability to donate directly. And we're going to be outreaching in a lot of different ways. For me, being involved with the event all of these years and having two young children, this is the perfect legacy that we want to be achieving for the future. As Bernadine said, and you've heard today, it's an epidemic of childhood obesity, and juvenile diabetes is a problem, and this is something that we are thrilled as a company and thrilled as an event to be able to embrace and to raise funds for. And Kaiser Permanente is very much involved in this, as is our presenting sponsor, Herbalife. And again, thank you for being here, and hope to see you out on Sunday.
Mr. Rosendahl.
Yes, before you run away, I just want you to know I'll be out there in my Speedo with my hat on like that at 6:30 in the morning on the beach and running up. I'm only kidding, of course. But our folks on Venice, on the beach, number one, and Venice Boulevard are aware of this. And you'll be running down Venice Boulevard. When you get by my house, I'm just right off of it. I'll be out there waving like this and wishing you nothing but success. But thank you, Kaiser Permanente, for all of your leadership, all of your support over the years. You've made a huge difference in it. And thank you, Ms. Gruhl.
Thank you. And I'd like to finally acknowledge Richard Kurtzner from Kaiser Permanente and ask him to say a few words.
Thank you very much. I'm Chief of Orthopedic Surgery at Kaiser Woodland Hills and have been very involved with the Los Angeles Triathlon. We're very, very proud to be the title sponsor of the Los Angeles Triathlon. This is our third year. We had probably about 500 physicians, staff, and employees sign up this year who will be participating. So we're very excited about that. We hope that it serves as a model, an example for all our members and all our staff that how important fitness is. So we're delighted to be here, and we look forward very much to Sunday. Thank you.
Okay, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Ms. Gruhl.
Thank you very much, Mr. Weiss. Thank you to all the Olympians who give back to the communities and to our children. And with that, I think we'll go to public comment. And
Actually, Madam Clerk, next item.
Yes.
Madam Clerk.
Thank you. We'll take a quick picture.
Mr. President, item number 9 was called special. There's a card on this item.
Okay, let's go to the items that are called special. Okay, in item 9, we have cards from Zuma Dog and Matt Dowd.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, City of Los Angeles. Good morning, City Council. My name's Zuma Dog. I'm here today to talk about item number 9, which is REAP Escrow Program. And I've been contacted by business owners across the city who've complained, some of which you've seen show up on TV 35. The problem is that they are being forced to pay for things like graffiti removal and broken windows on their properties. The problem is they feel the city is not doing enough to enforce the streets and keep them safe to prevent this type of problem. Then you go to the business owners in this down economy with foreclosures and businesses going in the toilet with nobody having enough money and inflation, and they're not taking in enough revenue. And then you say, gee, now you have to pay for the broken windows that the criminals are breaking at night and the graffiti that they're spraying while they're not making enough money and they can't afford it. So I just want everybody to know that the city of Los Angeles is no friend to business or ownership of property. It's not worth it because they don't do enough for safety on the streets. They triple your trash collection fees and say they're going to hire 1,000 new cops, and then they hire 300 new cops and say now we got to raise them again, and now we got to raise this fee and that fee and new taxes and new bonds and all kinds of things, y'all, and then they squander the money that's supposed to be given to them for the nonprofit programs, and then they say now when you get your windows broken and graffitied up, now you don't even have enough business anyways in these inflationary times, but then you're going to have to pay for it. I say, why don't you take all this gang intervention money, all this money that you want to do for the gang interventions, and use them to clean up the graffiti, or declare it a special event fee. You spent $270,000 on Tuesday for block parties and street festivals. $270,000. Declare graffiti removal a special event, and then the city can pay for it, not business owners.
Next. Matt Dowd, next card.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, Matt Dowd. I'm actually a business owner now in the city of Los Angeles. Pacific Breeze Incense. There's my tax certificate. So now the people on the east side of the boardwalk, they don't have that argument that I'm not a taxpayer anymore. Hello? Tax license, because I got picked up for distribution. I'm famous, but that's not what we're here to talk about, Mr. Attorney. And get rid of the facial growth. That's my proprietary property in this meeting now. Thank you. Anyway, No, because I got a bone to pick with them because...
Mr. President, he still has not addressed the REAP matter.
Thank you. Ms., it's okay. Mr. Dowd.
Thank you.
Please stay on topic.
I just want to get Jack Weiss off there, that's all.
Please direct your comments to the entire council, please, not specific.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, yeah, but look, there's two sides to this argument too. Rents are sky high in the city of Los Angeles. It's outrageous. It's beyond outrageous. It's ludicrous. So rent payers, they want to get their money worth too. They're paying big money. They want all this stuff fixed, and the landlords as well. They have to go onto this program and fix up their properties because the amount they're getting in rent, the developers and the property owners, they're all raking it in too off all the working people. So the rent escrow account program is necessary on that side of the coin as well. So as a business owner in the city of Los Angeles, Pacific Breeze Incense from Venice Beach, look for me in the stores.
Thank you. That item is now before us. Madam Clerk, please open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
Next item.
Next is item 10, and there's a card on this item.
Yes, downtown we have Mr. Arnold Sachs. Go down to downtown.
He's gone.
Mr. Sachs is gone. Okay. Mr. Zumadog, and followed by Mr. Matt Dowd.
Yes, thank you, Zumadog. My credentials, ZumaTimes.com, where I cover a lot of the issues, agenda items, including this one, the LA River Quarterly Report. I like to say the LA River should be prepared for skyrocketing construction costs. I say this is no time for this type of project. We've seen what's happened at Grand Avenue project. When you aim for these luxury beautification projects, first of all, look at the economy to sustain it. I don't think it's going to be there. And again, skyrocketing construction costs, cement, labor. This is going to be it's going to, no way. What happens, you're going to start it half-heartedly. You're not going to have the money to get it done. Also, the intent of the LA River project, because of course it sounds good, but as soon as you say something good about something, well then the true activists with the inside information contact you, and they did contact me, and I'm here to say all the right answers in the city are out there if council wants to listen. The problem with the LA River project is they want to just use it as an excuse to build high-density housing along the transportation line. They say there's going to be a transportation line down the LA River, except we don't really have the money, we know. We passed on $320 million federal funding for these types of projects, so now MTA is putting it to you, the taxpayer, to approve money for these transportation projects after they pass on it, okay? And then they just want to do this LA River project to beautify the area for the high-density housing of which there's, yes, they want to beautify it just for their own high-density housing of which there's way too much. Speaking of LA River, there's definitely not enough water because you're building too much density. Too many houses, too much density, not enough water. You're going down in history. People are going to be dropping on the streets. There's not enough water. The prices are skyrocketing. You got to stop these things like this project and all the high-density housing because there's not enough water.
Thank you. We will hear from Matt Dowd. We have lost a quorum. Another council member is anticipated, so number 9 would not have been passed by this council this time. It will be held on the desk. Similarly with item number 10, Mr. Dowd will go and continue to take your public comment.
Is this on item number 10?
This is on item number 10.
Yeah, no, okay. If not a quorum is too important, I'll waive for this one.
Okay. So we will hold item number 9 and 10. We will take public comment. We do anticipate additional council member that will be arriving from a funeral any moment. But I'd like to ask the following individuals. It looks like the name is Millian Gabriel Jesus. Followed by Lucas Bennett and followed by Noel Weiss.
Good morning, council officers. I spoke up in Los Angeles. I came this morning. Shannon, she told me to come. When I came there, the meeting is not there. They told me in the valley. I came down here. I need your assistance, and I'm out of work 2 months and a half. My taxi out of total, and I borrow money and everything, and also the company helped me. The insurance, I came down to get my seal. I don't have money. They say the ticket as a commercial residence area where I live, they give me 4 tickets. That, including penalty, came $626. And I don't have money to pay it. I need your assistance by payment or to do something so I go back to work. And I'm not handicapped. And I don't have money also to pay for my rent. And this is really like hurricane to me, you know. And I'm going to be homeless, and I'm going to be out of job. I don't want to fill it up welfare or to go unemployment. I want to work, and I need help to waive it or to do something as a payment. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you very much. And I know Ms. Hahn introduced a motion that we're going to have coming before our council, which looks at the taxi cabs and the ability parking on the street and how we can work with the city attorney's office on that, because I believe we did get an email on this. Thank you very much for being here. Our next speaker is Lucas Bennett.
Yeah, I've been homeless for 7 years, and I had some mental disabilities, and I went to the county to be able to find assistance with my problems, and they come in episodes. But it's schizophrenia. I got the card in here. I was referred to the San Fernando Valley Community Mental Health Center. It's right here in Van Nuys. Van Nuys looks like crap. The city's horrible. I mean, the conditions like lower than most other cities are, and I don't think the people that are responsible for the city are doing a very good job to take care of it. They're letting places like this extort funds from the government to finance themselves, pretty much. They were trying to buy me with food cards to get me to come back in, so I would rely on them for food. And I don't think that's really right. You know, people who have mental disabilities having to go through the same program over and over until these people are finished using them, you know, so they could extort funds from the government to support their own lives. I'll leave the card with you, or if anybody wants to talk to me about it afterwards. I'm trying to work with an advocate to complain about it, so somebody who is adequate to provide services for the people would be able to do that. These people aren't doing that. They hadn't did that for me, so it's the San Fernando Valley Community Mental Health Center. They don't do their job. You're giving them money, so you throw it out there like that and you won't build the city up. Doesn't seem like it's right, you know.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you coming and indicating the challenges you've had with that particular organization. Mr. Weiss?
Council members, good morning. I'm here to talk about 2 items. One, the parcel tax. I've watched Janice Hahn's parcel tax. I think we've heard all the negatives. I think it's time for a positive. We're talking about a fight, really, for the heart and souls of the kids of the city. This is not just a local issue. This is an international issue. And I think no less an authority than Connie Rice talked about the gangs in El Salvador trying to basically migrate and pretty much attack. And it is an attack on our kids, our soul, the soul and the future of our city. What we're talking about is $36 a year, parcel tax. And I got to tell you, $30 million. The guys who are fighting this have a lot more than $30 million. This is the community's way of basically saying to our people, our kids, that we believe in you, we're prepared to mount a counterattack, and it's time that the city basically stood up. If this was a hurricane coming in and basically attacking our community, people would be all over themselves paying a lot more than $3 a month or $36 a year for this. I think it's important that the community get behind it and that they support it. And candidates for controller, candidates for city attorney, they need to be out there proactive, because this really does represent a practical, proactive, positive, principled, and progressive approach. And I think the community should support it. Secondly, with regard to the tenant issues, we've got people in conversions right now that are not being paid the relocation money. The housing department, again, is not doing its job. I've asked Mr. Rosendahl, and I'm going to pass something out to the council. It's a very simple proposition. What we're talking about is tenants in conversions that were resided in conversions at the time of the application and at the time of the approval, they get their relocation money. They can terminate their leases. Housing is not telling, and people don't know. And there have been a lot of tenants out there that probably aren't getting their money. So I would ask that somebody on the council, or the council as a whole, basically tell Mercedes Marquez, you know what, Mercedes, in writing.
Thank you, Mr. Weiss.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Zuma Dog, followed by Linda Pruitt, followed by Brendan Huffman.
Yes, thank you for having me today, Los Angeles City Council. My name's Zuma Dog. I'm a blogger, journalist, public advocate, and I'd like to invite you to save paper, and please go to ZumaTimes.com because I blog about a lot of the agenda items, and I'd like you to read it, and I take feedback from the public. And also, I'd like to say that on the city is under a censorship alert because the council meetings is posted on the LA City website. Well, just when Zuma Dog comes up and talks about an FBI investigation into Los Angeles City Hall, well, magically, then the public comments are all of a sudden being cut off of the LA City website. So if you look at the last meeting, the first 4 public comments just cut off, and we start with Janice Hahn's comments, and we'll talk about that now. It starts right to the comments of a constituent took some people fishing, some kids fishing, and that's applaudable. But then the council members say, oh, boy, the kids got off that boat changed, and now they have an alternative to joining gangs. And I hope that was just a bad PR, foot in the mouth, flaw, and they felt afterwards, oh, that was a bad thing to say. Because if you believe that if you take kids fishing on a one-time trip and that you're giving them an alternative to joining gangs, well, that's a real insult, because then what happens is, if something bad happens and kids end up in gangs, well, gee, what happened? We took you fishing one time when you were 8 years old. So, and if that's what they think is going to be the problem, then, I have to say no to this gang parcel tax. I would be in support of it, except for the fact the money never makes it into the streets. It makes it into management contracts and research projects and consulting, and not into the hands of the people that need it most. And so I talk way too much about that even, and I like to say that it is endorsement season coming up. And the other things I'd like to talk about is we have Proposition B, affordable housing. Go to ZumaTimes.com. You must vote no on Prop B.
Next individual, Linda Pruitt, Brendan Huffman, Sharon Brewer.
Good morning. First, I'd like to thank Councilman Greg Smith, who is my own personal councilman, and yay, Councilman Smith, for all of your efforts and your support on emergency preparedness. We really appreciate it. And I also appreciate the support from the entire council. And in fact, that's why I'm here this morning, because I want to invite all of you to get CERT trained. We in the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council have taken a lead in getting our members CERT trained. We've had classes, and we have a really good one coming up. We're going to do 2 Sunday classes. So for those of you who can't make the hour-and-a-half classes one night a week, we'd like to invite you to come on the 25th of September and the 5th of October. You'll get all your training over with in 2 days. We're going to supply you with a continental breakfast and a light lunch as an enticement to get you to come. And we also invite all the people in the San Fernando Valley to go on to our website, lakebalboanc.org. Our contact information is there. We have some printouts about the classes on the back table back here. Captain Stacy Gerlich, by the way, who is responsible for giving you your CERT packs this morning, is going to be teaching these classes, and we think she's tops in all the city for teaching CERT information. Also, I wanted to tell you that, again, Lake Balboa is taking the lead. We have formed a communications committee. We're getting our members ham radio trained and licensed. And also, we will be putting out 2 20-foot steel cargo bins with emergency preparedness supplies, and we're going to do that. Hopefully, we'll have the big announcement on that and the opening of those the week of the GreatShakeout.org. So please, contact us, Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council, or lakebalboanc.org, and come sign up for CERT classes. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being here today. Brendan Huffman, Sharon Brewer, Miriam Fogler, and Matt Dowd.
Good morning, council members. Brendan Huffman with the Valley Industry and Commerce Association. Today's my last day at VICA, and I just wanted to Thank you. There's one issue we've been working on all year, and I think it's going to be on a council agenda next week, and that is the collections sheriff issue. And I want to commend council members Gruhl and Garcetti for bringing this before you. So I won't have an opportunity to testify next week, but this is so important to VICA. We're experiencing a terrible state deficit and cities are struggling, but we're owed up to $500 million in outstanding fees, fines, penalties, etc. We're not doing a good job collecting it. So the collection sheriff will probably, VICA hopes, be able to get more return on this so that we can hire more police, reduce fees and services, and continue the path towards business tax reform. This remains VICA's top priority and will remain so through the year. So I just wanted to commend Councilmembers Gruhl and Garcetti and all of you, and I'm going to go back to my office and unregister and miss the opportunity to wear a badge. Thank you.
Thank you. And before you leave, I know Mr. Smith wanted to say something as well.
Brandon, just because you're leaving VICA's executive role doesn't mean you have to leave this council chamber. You've been a very valuable community partner for many years, and I, for one, appreciate all the ideas you bring forth and all the comment you bring forth and the criticism, and that's important to a democracy. And you've done a really great job at VICA, and I hate to see you leave, but I know you're not leaving because your wife's got a really good job here. So I know you're not leaving, so please continue to come back, give us ideas, and participate, because you've been a great partner in many, many things here. And I want to congratulate you on your service at VICA, and I hope we'll continue to see you around here.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I add that, yes, and Brendan, you really have been a great voice, and as I think Greg said, both in supporting us and criticizing us when necessary and coming up with ideas, and not just complaining, but saying, here are some recommendations, and to work with us to do that. So we know you'll just come in a different position, testifying either from a constituent basis in my district or other ways, but thank you for all your leadership. So, and I think Mr. LaBonge wants to add something, too.
I just wanted to thank you, Brendan, for your work. Even before you were at VICA, you've always been one who's been forward and advocating for what you thought was right for everybody, which is so key. And you also have energized VICA, which is so important. So I hope whoever they call off the bench, they have the ability to do what you've done in these short months and year plus time to help be the voice of the Valley. And congratulations, as you've articulated so well, the voice of business and industry here in the San Fernando Valley. My best to you and your family.
Thank you. I just want to say I have a great team at VICA and a great group of volunteers, people like Mel Cohn and Greg Lippy, who just put so much effort from their own businesses into going to Sacramento and City Hall with us and presenting the business perspective directly to you.
Thank you. Mr. Rosendahl wants to also add something.
I just ran from the back because I was talking with the constituent that had an issue before we went on. I want to thank you for your leadership, and I would applaud you for what you've done. You've been a straight shooter. You're honest, and you have points of views. Everybody has a point of view, be it Zumadog with his position or yours or 18 million other people. Everybody has a point of view. Everybody has an advocacy position. And every time you've come into my office with your advocacy positions, you've been clear, you've been a straight shooter, you put all the facts out. That's what I really appreciate about you. And also, I know that your family lives in my district, and they're very engaged in some of the issues there on San Vicente Boulevard, and I appreciate that. And I know you're going to be as helpful to all of us in your next position. Thank you for your leadership, your support, your involvement in the democratic process, and Godspeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If I can just say, Councilman Rosendahl, there is
he had 20 seconds left on his...
a new independent bookstore opening on San Vicente in your district in a few weeks. Thank you.
He had 20 seconds, Mr. Zumadog. Sharon Brewer, followed by Miriam Fogler.
Sharon Brewer, public comment. City Council continues to give away public funds for special event fee waivers, taking money out of the general fund, but also raising fees impacting the public, example, trash fees, parking meters, etc., to generate more revenue to the general fund. What's wrong with this picture? July 1st, 2007 to June 30th, 2008, special event fee waivers, 1,335 total, 1,060 with amount $6,363,221.20 plus, 243 reimbursed, 32 to no amounts. Financial policy of the City of Los Angeles, fee waiver policy. From time to time, council may decide to waive fees when it can be demonstrated that a direct public benefit can be obtained. These policies are not intended to replace or supersede the revenue policy stating that sufficient user charges and fees will be pursued and levied to support full cost of operations for which fees are charged. City Council from time to time doesn't mean 3 times a week, every month. July 2008 fee waivers, $905,540. August, $293,845. Total for July through August, $1,209,385. September 2nd, special event fee waivers, 71 total, 62 with amount, $271,103. City Council, please tell me how waiving fees for USC, approximately $40,000, demonstrates a direct public benefit. Special event fee waivers need to be listed on the agenda, need to list the fiscal impact to the general fund. Total of amounts listed on agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. And did you wish your comments to be recorded for item number 9, since this was public comment? Yeah, okay. Miriam Fogler?
Yeah, hello. I guess this is a new mic. All unions need to pay some more co-payments of $15, including our police and fire. I talked to the coalition union's Mark, and he said that they were negotiating to save 700 jobs. The city's already said they won't lay them off. But all these unions need to jump on board, like what Dennis Zine said last September. He said it's either all or none will do it. So CRA money could be used to help this too, to save the 700 jobs here for the city and the state, and police and fire department, so that we don't have to collect trash. Because I don't like to call the police trash. That's terrible. This is a cliche that will be picked up, and I don't like that. And also, the governor should veto all MTA tax, because the state budget has not been resolved. CRA wants to expand to Van Nuys, North Hollywood, Panorama City, growing up to stop. We need to stop them now. They'll steal all your tax money. They want to raise the taxes by adding the parcel tax to pay for gangs, and that's got to be stopped. This is unfair tax to property owners only to pay for gang tax. We need to all voice against this. There'll be another Prop 13 here, folks, a tax revolt. We're not going to take this anymore. Like with Howard Jarvis, he's not going to take it. I'm not going to take it. I will stop this myself with other people in court. He will not succeed. I hope the people will listen to me and not vote for these taxes. And, first, second of all, this subway to sea, Rosendahl sounds like a great thing, but it isn't, because you're going to get rid of the buses that are essential to my friend Donna Perriman, who comes here on Tuesdays. Thank you.
Matt Dowd?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I want to make a comment on the performance of Ed Reyes last time I was in Chambers. Boo! He gets my boo of the day, Ed Reyes. Boo to Ed Reyes for being a crybaby because someone said boo at a public meeting. I mean, that's the biggest crybaby thing I've ever seen and since I've been in these council chambers. So boo to Ed Reyes, first of all. Now, my predictions for the federal presidential elections, it's over for Obama already. The Republicans are going to sweep into office. Greg Smith, congratulations. Dennis Zine. Why? Because they're mavericks, and everybody loves a maverick. I'm a maverick. America loves mavericks. Sarah Palin, it's over for the Democrats. Eric Garcia, I got
Madam
bad
President,
news.
his comments are not related to
I've
what's
got bad
in the Los
news
Angeles
for Eric
jurisdiction.
Garcetti. He wasted a lot of city time, and he's been supporting Obama. I'm just telling him, bad luck. He got on the wrong horse this time. Now, let me tell you who I am. I'm Matt Dowd. I'm down at Venice Beach. I got a permit from the city of Los Angeles to promote my original creation of incense. It just happens to be incense. But it's original, and it's my own design and everything. City of Los Angeles made some dumb law that the city attorneys too busy looking in the mirror, grooming themselves, and not paying attention to the federal constitutional law, came and arrested us, cited us, and the whole thing, jail, never proceeded. We had to file in federal court. A federal judge said, yeah, you're protected. And now a big distributor's come along the beach and said, yeah, I want your original creation. I want to market it across America. So you held me back for a long time. In fact, it was 335 days. It's documented. My Century Park East attorney, Mr. Steve Rohde, will give you the numbers.
Thank you very much, Mr. Matt Dowd. Mr. Sachs, is he still? I know he has gone in and out. See if Mr. Sachs is there. It'll be our final public comment speaker.
Thank you,
Mr. Sachs.
Good morning. I'd like to comment. Applaud you for your emergency preparedness presentation. I like the idea of hard hats for hard heads. Then I'd also like to make a little bit of a summary. Yesterday I went to the Southern California Regional Governance Council meeting, and it was actually quite interesting. One of the items they came up with is there's going to be a symposium in October in Lake Arrowhead, and they gave an attachment with all the different headlines or topics that they had talked about. And one of them that struck my fancy was taking strategies from concept to adoption to implementation regarding transportation. And I looked over my notes that I've gotten from Metro, and it states here in the 80s and 90s, extensive planning was conducted for the west side extension of the subway. In 1980, extensions were plans were subject. We're doing study. So I made a comment to them that taking strategies from concept to adoption, LACMTA has been studying the West Side Extension for 28 years. That's the concept part. They haven't gotten to adoption yet. How soon before this turkey hatches? Any ideas? Any comment from the council members? I guess not. Then I'd also like to report that this is a newspaper article, 5 West Side LA extension options revealed. The 5 alternatives to be given further study are 2 variations of an all-Wilshire heavy rail subway, 2 variations of a Wilshire-Santa Monica Boulevard subway, and 2 variations of bus rapid transit on both Wilshire and Santa Monica Boulevard. So that's 2, 2, 2. How do you get 5? I don't know. Please answer. Finally, I lost my notes. I'm sorry.
Thank you very much.
90 million.
Mr. Sachs? The timing on our other council member? He's outside the building. Okay. We'll wait 2 minutes. Mr. Jose Huizar is coming into the building, and we will vote on item number 9 and 10. And if not, I will adjourn, but they do say he's outside the building.
Let's claim eminent domain on this district.
Is he there? No. We do have a quorum. Madam Clerk, the 2 items before us would be items number 9 and 10. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Madam Clerk, please open the roll on items number 9 and 10. Close the roll and tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
10 ayes. Any remaining items, Madam
Madam
Clerk?
President, there are motions for posting and referral.
Those will be posted and referred.
And that clears the desk.
Thank you. Do you have announcements today, colleagues? Any announcements? Yes, Mr. Smith?
Tonight is the last of my movie nights in the San Fernando Valley. 7:15 Northridge Park. We're showing the movie Grease, and we have free food for those who want to come out. Bring the family out. It's a perfect night tomorrow night in the park, in Northridge Park. Also, we're going to have some original cars that were used in the movie, the old 1950s style cars there. So please come on out to Northridge Park. Free showing of Grease with free popcorn, free food for the first 500 people.
Thank you. Mr. Alacone, you have an announcement?
Yeah, a couple. First of all, I want to remind members and also inform the public that we will be conducting a hearing of the Poverty Committee to discuss the rates, the discount rates and Lifeline services at DWP and the discount program at the Department of Sanitation. And that meeting will be held here in Van Nuys at 2 p.m. in this room. And we would invite anybody who is interested in the subject to please attend. Also, I'd like to announce that on September 6th and 7th, tomorrow and the day after, at the Panorama Rec Center, we will be having Pinoy Fest, which is a celebration of the Filipino community, and there will be entertainment and kiddie carnival rides, giant inflatables, a lot of fun at the Panorama City Recreation Center. A lot of people don't know that the Filipino community is one of the fastest growing communities in the San Fernando Valley, particularly in the Panorama City area, where I went to high school at St. Genevieve's for a couple years. At the time, it was a very small representation of Filipinos. I understand the school is now 80% Filipino, so this is a great opportunity for you to better understand the Filipino community and have a lot of fun, and probably sing some karaoke as well. Mr. Zumadog.
Thank you, Mr. Labange. Oh, Mr. Weeser.
Thank you very much, Madam President. I want to wish the City of Los Angeles a happy birthday. Yesterday was the 227th anniversary of the Pobladores Walk to the City of Los Angeles from the San Gabriel Mission. And it was in 1781 that 44 people and 11 families plus 4 soldiers left Mission San Gabriel and proceeded 9 miles down the trail to the river. I was joined on Labor Day, Monday, by Councilwoman Wendy Gruhl, by Tom Labange, as we celebrated and wished the city happy birthday. We had a great cake and a lot of other activities at El Pueblo. And this is a wonderful walk-in event that I invite you to. I walked the 9 miles. I still feel the soreness on my legs from those 9 miles, but I would suggest that you stretch out before you start that walk if you want to do it next year. It starts a little early at 6 a.m., but I invite everyone to join us next year for the 228th celebration for the City of Los Angeles. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Weeser. Mr. Labange.
I want to congratulate Mr. Weezer for walking those 9 miles, which was so special. And it's no, not today. He did it on Labor Day in honor of the city's birthday, which is 227 years old. But it was good. But everybody should get out and we'll take a good walk in your local park this weekend, or take a bike ride along the beautiful Bill Rosendahl Venice Beach Bikeway.
Thank you. Any other announcements? Do we have adjourning motions? Yes, we do have adjourning motions. If we could ask everyone to please rise. Everyone in the council chambers. Mr. Weeser.
Thank you very much, Madam President. I'm saddened to say that I'm arriving here this moment from a funeral at the Los Angeles Cathedral, where we paid our respects to a family of 3, one of which was pregnant with a few-month-old baby boy that passed away in a horrific accident on Colorado Boulevard in Eagle Rock this past August 27th. It took the lives of 4 young people and an unborn child. 3 of the deceased were siblings. It goes without saying that this sudden and tragic loss is a severe blow to the families and loved ones left behind. And the first of the young people who passed away, his name was Kristen Nicole Cordova. I asked that we adjourn in her name and the others. She passed away on that horrific crash instantly, and she was only 19 years old. She graduated from Franklin High School last year. She was attending Pasadena Community College, and her dream was to become a school teacher. Her friends and family described her as very honest and personable. Her life was full of promise, and it is a great tragedy that she had been taken so early from her family with an unborn with her as well. Her sister, Tony Marie Cordova, also passed, and I asked that we adjourn in her memory as well. She was only 16 years old, and Tony was set to start her last year as a senior at Eagle Rock High School. She was the middle child in her family and enjoyed singing and spending time with her family. And finally, I asked that we adjourn the memory of Andrew Cordova, a 15-year-old who died as a result of injuries of the crash. He spent about a day at Huntington Memorial Hospital in in Pasadena, where I went to visit the family, a very large family, loving family, united family. Was there to see him his last moments. He was an outspoken young man who enjoyed music. He was the youngest brother of the three. He loved to eat hot Cheetos and play Guitar Hero. Andrew's life was full of promise, and it is also a great tragedy to see him go so young. All three lived in Eagle Rock and are survived by their mother Janice, their father Tony, as well as by loving aunts, uncles, cousins, and countless friends. They will certainly be missed by the Eagle Rock community. And finally, also in that crash, another young individual passed, Jason Gomez Hernandez. I ask that we also adjourn in his memory. He was also only 19 years old. He died immediately after being thrown out of the car by the force of the collision, and our thoughts are with his family as well. The cause of the accident is currently under investigation, but we know that the city is doing all it can to assure that we provide more safety on Colorado Boulevard, which is a large stretch of road that sometimes people do speed on that highway. We have more officers out there now, and we are working to see what we can do with the lights to slow down the traffic as it goes through that boulevard. But certainly to be at this funeral right now where your family is just taken from you, it's incredible. Thank you.
All members.
Thank you, all members. Mr. Weiser, I know tough to come back to council after that, so thank you for making your way here. Any other adjourning motions? If not, Madam Clerk, please call the roll. The meeting's now adjourned.